Shalom Israel, for his phones, I do not give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bashem El Shai, Bashem Kakadash, the born to the apostles, and those great millstone for teaching us its truth, peace, and blessings. To the hope of the Shalom, Yahweh is the name of the fallen Hebrew, Bashem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the Mayan son. Back on the lesson, and as you see in the title, World War III is approaching, and it's approaching fast. As you're seeing the conflict that's breaking out as we speak. As you see right here in the title of this article, Iran fires 200 missiles at Israel in major attack. And as you've been seeing these, past couple weeks, and these attacks have been going back and forth. You're seeing these, assassinations that were taking place, and now you're seeing missiles being launched. And I believe it's going to show it right here within this video, and really get into this article, and get a couple scripts at hand, going into the times that we are coming into, because World War III is prophesied within the Bible. And also going to go into the destruction that will befall this place, which mainly here in America, but you're also going to have many other places be hit by these thermonuclear missiles, which America will be destroyed by. And you have people come out and say that World War III is not going to happen in our lifetime, it's not going to happen in our generation, this and that. Well, what do you know? Look what's happening. Because with this, now you're going to have other nations, start to get involved. Aid is going to be given, and it's going to be a continuous back and forth. And you already see the tensions are high enough, man. Also, a Twitter post says, "We have never been closer to World War III than we are today after Iran's ballistic missile attack against Tel Aviv and Israel that is destroying their Iron Dome." And there's also a few videos which you see right here. I mean, look at that, man. We are so close to the end of this place, man. It's some heavy stuff. And those that don't want to repent, those that don't want to take heed to these warnings, that don't want to seek Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, this is just not even an example of what's coming to Babylon the Great, man, because it's going to be way worse. It's going to be, by the way, of thermonuclear missiles, man. But you just see the damage that this is causing also. Look at this. A literal act of war. And there's also a post that I screenshotted from one of the brothers' channels, which I'll get real quick. And it says, "Third world coming quickly." See the top of it. This is just in. Iran officially declares state of war against Israel. And go back to the title, World War III is approaching fast. So let's play a quick video, see what it has to offer, read a little bit more into it, and get a couple of those scriptures, and Lord's lesson be edifying to the point, because once again, hey, we're almost out of here, man.
Iran launched nearly 200 ballistic missiles towards targets in Israel. The United States military coordinated closely with the Israeli Defense Forces to help defend Israel against this attack. U.S. naval destroyers joined Israeli air defense units in firing interceptors to shoot down inbound missiles.
And as you see, the U.S. is already pretty much getting involved, helping defending Israel. So now you're going to have other nations, start to step in. And we all know what that will lead to. World War III. They call the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai. The Lord is turning things up, man. Look at all the things that are happening as we speak. You're seeing the port strikes are already kicking off. Protests already taking place. You're seeing this situation. And after I got that post on Twitter, which you saw right there, you see World War III trending. But above it, you have a trade dealing with a football player, pretty much kind of overtaking that. So you're seeing these distractions that are going out that they're trying to pull you away from what's going on. Also with the Diddy situation, all that stuff, man. Things are getting ready to go down.
President Biden and Vice President Harris monitored the attack and the response from the White House Situation Room.
And very soon, these are not going to be, just ballistic missiles being shot. It's going to be those ICBMs, those nuclear missiles, man.
The White House Situation Room, joined in person and remotely by their national security team. We are still working with the IDF and the authorities in Israel to assess the impact of the attack.
All right, that's the point. Let's get a little bit into this article. The story has been updated to add new information. As Iran fired waves of missiles at Israel on Tuesday, and what it called a revenge attack for Israel's killing of several Hezbollah leaders, which I like about the point being less done with those assassinations, including its top leader Hassan Nasrallah. And if you remember the things that they said, there would be retaliations made. Revenge was going to be made. As there was no immediate reports, Israeli casualties from the barrage, which targeted Tel Aviv and other central parts of Israel. A man was reported killed in Jericho and the West Bank. Iran fired about 200 missiles, a Pentagon spokesman said. Now, so based on what we know at this point, this attack appears to have been defeated and ineffective. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said at the White House, well, not really, if their so-called Iron Dome, which is one of the best, Israel's Iron Dome anti-missile system intercept rockets as seen that you saw within the videos, it was pretty much bypassed. You saw how many missiles were landing and hitting. As speak too fast, the majority of the missiles were intercepted by Israeli air defenses. The Pentagon said 2 U.S. Navy destroyers that fired about a dozen interceptors. Israel and the U.S. promised to respond, and I see the U.S. is getting involved in that. So you're seeing the steps being made towards World War III. And yes, it will happen in our lifetime. And you're seeing the build towards it as we speak. War was just declared. Missiles are being shot. And now you have the U.S. getting involved, defending. And now you're going to have, once again, more other nations start to get involved also. As we will choose to collect the price and prove our precise and surprising attack capabilities in accordance with the guidance of political leadership. Read the last paragraph right here. The attack comes as the Middle East appears to be teetering on the brink of a multi-state war and followed an Israeli ground operation in Lebanon on Tuesday, which that also took place, where Iran-backed Hezbollah is based. Now, as you get the script at hand to go to show that World War III is within the Bible. Put this down here. Now, this is Revelations 11-14. And now it says the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. What is that third woe speaking of? The Third World War. And going back to the title, World War III is approaching. Guess what? It's approaching fast. Now this is right here. The second woe is past, and what is that second woe speaking? The Second World War. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Speaking of the Third World War. So a lot of things are happening, man. But let's get Jeremiah 50:9. And we'll jump down to, I believe, verse 25 and get verse 45 after that. Just getting straight to the points. Now it says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north countries. So very soon you're going to have many nations come up against Babylon, against America. And they shall set themselves in array against her. There you go. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as a mighty expert men, none shall return in vain. And now those arrows are not speaking of a regular bow and arrow. And speaking of those thermonuclear missiles that will be shot. As you can also get in 2nd Ezra, this will be the 16th chapter. Which I'll get, and come back to this. Just so you get the point. Where's it at? Yeah, 2 Ezra 16:13. That says, "For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp." So you see arrows are being brought up once again. And it says, "His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss, when they begin to be shot to the ends of the world." So what regular bow and arrow can be shot from one place on the earth into the whole other side? None. So it completely debunks that whole it being a regular bow and arrow. So once it's speaking of those thermonuclear missiles, pushing that point. Realize one more time, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot to the ends of the world. Now to go back up to Jeremiah 50, read verse 9 from on top. "For lo, I'll raise in chaos to come against Babylon, assembly great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, their arrows shall be as a united expert men, none shall return in vain." So you're going to have those missiles, those arrows, hit their mark, and they're not going to miss. They're not going to collide to each other. They're not going to, just implode in the air. They're all going to hit their destination. Now let's jump down to verse 25, and this is going to show you that this war is going to be completely different, and how it will be a lot more clear of what this war is going to be by the way of. As the Lord hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. So what do you think it means when the Lord is opening up his armory? You can also get in the scriptures how the Lord has, pretty much created the waster to destroy. The Lord put the spirit on these devils in order to create the thermonuclear missiles. Ultimately for their own demise, their own destruction, man. But I'm trying to put the point even more that speaking of these thermonuclear missiles, man, because once again, what do you think it means when the Lord's opening up his armory? Come on. We'll read from the top one more time, and we'll get the 45th verse, and we'll continue with the other scriptures. "The Lord hath opened up his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation," which we can also get in Isaiah 34, which we'll get later on. "For this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts in the land of Chaldeans." As in verse 45, "Now it says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he had taken against Babylon," which once again speaking of America, "and his purposes that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." Are you seeing the situation doing with Israel and Iran, and how you already see the U.S. getting involved, helping defend, Israel? What did they say? 2 naval destroyers, if I'm correct. Now it says, "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them." And then, "At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations." And the earth being shaken, the earth being moved, is dealing with all those explosions from those nuclear missiles. We should also get in many scriptures. How the earth shall shake, as a drunkard. Joel 3:9-13. "As it proclaim ye this time as the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up." So now you have the nations that are starting to prepare for war, preparing to fight. Especially making advancements within their weaponry, their nuclear arsenal. Verse 10, "Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." Now they're starting to stand up. Excuse me. Verse 11, "Assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. There's a cause that mighty ones come down, O Lord." Verse 12, "Let the heathen be wakened, and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about." So Yahweh Shemashah is ultimately getting ready to judge this earth, man. Especially Babylon the Great, aka America. Verse 13, "Put ye in the sickle, where the harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great." Are you ready for the picking? Now let's get a couple more scriptures. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. And it's going to go into the destruction that will befall this place. As we also read in a few of those scriptures, what it will be by the way of. Now, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, unexpected to those that are not watching, those that are not paying attention, those that are not seeking the Lord." As you see many of our people are doing. As you get Ecclesiastes 5 and 7, they're putting off the Lord. So the Lord comes as a thief in the night unto you. And of course, we don't know the exact date, The exact hour our Lord will return, we're given signs to measure the times that we are in. As in 2 Kings 9:1 measures time diligently in itself. And you can also get in Revelation the 16th chapter and the 15th verse, where it goes into blessed is he that watcheth. And it also mentions how the Lord is coming as a thief in the night within that scripture. You know? So a lot of our people are going to be so-called blindsided, but not really, because Yahweh Bashim said a prophet among you, watchmen, to warn you of these coming times. But it says, but the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night. So Jake's going to be unprepared, unready. And it said, in which the heaven shall pass away with great noise, which is going to those explosions from those nuclear missiles, and the element shall melt with fervent heat. Now, what type of weapon can emit that type of heat where it's able to melt the elements? Rock, steel, especially people, which you can also get in Zechariah. That's also another great scripture. As Zechariah chapter 14 verse 12, after that point, and you saw in the background of that, look at that. That image that's popped up right there, look at that. So, just going to show, speaking of these nuclear missiles, man, clear as day. I mean, that's the spirit. You're going to nuclear destruction, and look what's popping up, Zechariah 14. The Zechariah 14 predict a nuclear holocaust. Right, there you go, we're about to read. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh Bashim Shai will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. You know, dealing with that one movie, Terminator, where she's holding on to that gate. And there's a nuclear missile that pops off in the background. What happens? Her flesh is burned away and you can see her bone. Just a little example. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. And upon their eyes, or upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes. And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth, going to show that immense heat. And look, also look what happened over there in Hiroshima. You know, people's shadows were casted upon walls, man. So imagine the advanced weaponry that they have now. But just once again pushing that point, how this destruction, this judgment, even be by the way of thermonuclear fire, man. And if you can't see it, the Lord is not dealing with you. Now it says, and the element shall melt with fervent heat, the earth also, and the works that therein should be burned up. Get a couple more, is Isaiah 9:5, and this is just, you know, the icing on the cake right here. As it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. And I would like to use the movie 300 as an example. You know, dealing with the clashing of shields, you know, swords on the battlefield. But watch this. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And that can't be any clearer, man. Going to show this war isn't be completely different. As you can also get Matthew 24 and 21. You know, how we're having some times that have never been seen before. Jeremiah 30:7. The last days great, so that none is like it. The judgment by the way of those nuclear missiles once again. Excuse me. Now let's get these last 4 scriptures. And that'll be a lesson right there, man. Because a lot of things are happening. And ultimately prophecy is speaking. Revelation 6:13-14. And it said, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. What are those stars of heaven? Speaking of those nuclear missiles coming down. And the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, because when you look into those ICBMs, they can pretty much go, you know, super high into either the stratosphere or the atmosphere, just, you know, super high in the air. And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind, going to those shock waves from those explosions, man. And you see examples in movies or actual, you know, military tests with a little, you know, pop up an explosion or missile in the background. And you can see the shock wave, you know, coming towards them. Verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And the heavens being rolled together as a scroll is speaking of the mushroom cloud being formed from those explosions. So that's what it's speaking of right there. And every mountain and every mountain and island were moved out their places. So you're literally going to have the earth shake. A world worldwide earthquake, man, from all those explosions. I believe you get in the scripture how the earth is gonna, reel to and fro. But let's get a little bit more, which we got 2 Ezra 16 already. So let's jump to Isaiah 34. As it come near nations do hear and hearken, ye people, like the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. Verse 2, for the indignation of Yahweh Ba'ashem shines upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He had utterly destroyed them, he had delivered them to the slaughter. Verse 3, their slain also should be cast out, and their stink shall come out of the carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, going to that great judgment. Verse 4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And we broke down that point of what the heavens being rolled together as a scroll, speaking of dealing with those mushroom clouds. And as all the hosts shall fall down, as the leaves fall off from the vine, as the falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. What is that sword speaking of? Those nuclear missiles. As we got in Revelation 6, it mentioned it as stars, falling from heaven. But right here, dealing with that sword. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, another word for Esau, Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Verse 6. And this is the sword of the Lord filled with blood is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So great judgment is coming, man. And go back to the title, World War 3 is fastly approaching. Habakkuk 3. Now you're going to start to have people take this thing that we've been saying seriously. But you're still going to have people mocking, scoffing, not really taking heed to these warnings, and think none of it. Habakkuk 3, because once again, when these things do happen, when these things do come to pass, Ezekiel 33, they're going to know that a prophet has been among them, warning them of these coming times, man. And it's going to be far too late when some people realize. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end I shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it's really come, it will not tarry, meaning it will not delay. And where's that vision? Speaking of the prophecies, and guess what? We're in those appointed times as written and spoken of within the scriptures, within the Bible. We are quite literally at the end of this movie, man. It's no coincidence that you're seeing so many things happening, man. Look around you. Open your eyes. But once only the elect are going to see this anyway. They're going to take heed to these warnings, man. Because Yahweh Ba'ashem has set up watchmen, which are those prophets, to warn you. I mean, look what's happening. You're seeing the port protests, which obviously caused many problems with the economy. Inflation. Obviously, a scarcity of food, which leads to people fighting amongst each other. You had Donald Trump come out and say pretty much something dealing about a literal purge, taking place. You have this devil planning to depop a lot of people, this earth. And you're seeing this situation right here getting even worse. We are nearing the end of this place, man. But that's the point right there. I want to make a lesson going to the situation at hand, as many other brothers are also speaking on, especially our duty as those watchmen, man, to be send out these warnings, sound the alarm, so that you're made known and wary of the times that we're in and are coming into. So that's the point right there. Lord was edifying, Lord to the point. I do want to close out and give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Kakadash, the one of the apostles, and Nelson Great Millstone for teaching us His truth. Peace and blessings to the whole collective of Israel. Shalom. See you next one. Lord's will.